In this video, I will teach what I've learned about meditation to show you how to actually meditate. And I mean like real meditation, not the corporate clear your head for 5 minutes so you can get back to meeting sales goals. Not like that new age meditation, um, mindfulness stuff. I'm talking about real deep meditation, ancient meditative technology used by shamans, monks, philosophers, and humans throughout time. But the goal of this video is to make sure every single person who watches it can achieve this state. And everyone should experience this in their life. This video will be helpful to those who are interested in astral projection or lucid dreaming. A lot of the same techniques are used for those since you run those applications from the same state. I'm not going to explain anything beyond how to reach this state because I want to share my thoughts in a future video after everyone has experienced it, because I don't want to influence what you think of it. So we're just going to learn about how to do it and how to know you're in the state. So we're all going to experience this over the next few weeks, hopefully, and or as long as it takes, and then we'll dive into what's going on or my thoughts on it and then share our experiences. So for now, we're just making sure everyone can enter a real meditative state. So this is a complete guide. If you follow it, I guarantee you'll be able to reach this meditative state. The first thing you'll need to do is make sure you can breathe properly. If you don't know what I mean, watch my video on breathing. It's just breathing into your belly. So that is like the only prerequisite. Some light exercise and stretching daily is important. Real meditation is tough on your body. You'll be sore and dehydrated. In some cases, more than you probably ever experienced. It's extremely discomforting and sometimes painful. Not in a dangerous way, but in the feeling of your whole body going numb and falling asleep can be very irritating, especially for some people with like chronic problems. So it's important to keep yourself healthy. I just want to be realistic. Entering meditation is uncomfortable and not relaxing at all. This is why in groups like the Shaolin, they train all day to make their bodies as fit as possible in order to sustain long, deep meditative trances. At least that's like the traditional view of it. I don't know what it's like today. But just be prepared. It's like any other skill or sport. The more you train and practice, the better you'll get and the easier it becomes. So the actual meditation will go like this. You'll find a comfortable place to sit or lay down, and you can do either one. It's probably easier inside, but you're just as able to do it outside, especially under a tree. There's a lot of beliefs around tree energy, and most of the famous examples of meditative enlightenment occurs under trees. The main point is be comfortable in your place that you won't be disturbed at, in a position you think you'll be able to stay in for at least half an hour. If you sit, your legs will go numb and your back will start to hurt. So unless you're able to hold that position, which takes a fair amount of training, laying down is probably recommended. Now once you're settled and you're ready, you have a couple options to start your meditative trip. Optional techniques and things you can do are to add music. You can look up calming nature sounds, white noise, binaural beats, isochronic beats, trance music, singing bowls, ASMR, even classical music, or whatever you can do to help you get into a calm state, whatever you prefer. Experiment with different sounds. I talked about this once before, but you can play literally any music or playlist of any genre, preferably something with a beat or a rhythm. And if you play it quiet enough and far away enough, just where you can't make out the actual vocals, it will be very trance-like. But it will still have enough familiarity to get whatever emotional connection you may have to your favorite songs or playlists. You can put a candle or incense on, and if you're inside, darkening the room as much as possible may be beneficial. Turn off all your computers and cover any blue light or red lights from anywhere, and make sure your phone is silent. You don't want that going off and disturbing you, other than obviously the audio you may be playing from it. Headphones are not required and may even get in the way. but some binaural beats do work better with headphones since they pretty much alter your brain into different wave states by playing two different frequencies, and your brain like settles in between them. But those are all things you can take advantage of. Having a routine is important if you're committed to trying this. This is why rituals exist in the first place. The repetition of habit and routine create a ritual when your body and mind get into the zone. You do this in games before sports, before performances, even just going out or to a meeting or before a test. You establish through repetition a random series of actions to prepare yourself. And once you've done it enough, you create a pathway to enter that state. You associate those actions with the preparedness of that sort of trance that you get into whenever you're doing something that requires a lot of focus and training. You can train rituals intentionally, it's not just subconscious. The classic meditative pose, you'll see they have like the fingers and the thumbs together in the half lotus position. You'll see like statues of that or pictures. They did that because when you start to meditate over and over again, you can train your brain, you can sort of condition it that this specific action or routine is for meditation. It's a shortcut you can take advantage of. And you can train that shortcut to get into the deeper states faster. It's just like muscle memory, but it's like meditative memory. It's like a form of self-hypnosis, maybe you can think of it as. One word of caution though, you should pick something you won't accidentally do, like while you're driving or something. And you should make it clear to yourself that only when you're prepared for meditation will the shortcut go into effect. A hand sign is most common and easy to do while meditating because you aren't like moving around or doing anything crazy. You can simply just do this. I know we are still talking about the setup, but a lot of people try to get into meditation and they give up at the beginning because they don't know where to begin, or because it's been sort of gatekept by like, oh, you gotta have a guru, you gotta have like 40 years of training, and there's all this like fluff around it. Don't listen to any of that. Don't overthink it. It's not that complex. Even if the actual state is mind-boggling, getting into it is not that complicated. But I'll just tell you that this is where you begin. You establish a ritual, get into the mindset, take time selecting your music, adjusting your position, wear loose clothes, make sure you're not too warm or too cool. Don't try this after eating, and make sure you have a glass of water nearby because you will be super parched after it. So we're finally ready to begin. What you do now is breathe. Try to settle into a position where you won't move your hands or feet or any other part of your body. You need to be completely still. So after you've settled, that's going to be your position. Breathe through your nose into your stomach, slowly, naturally, and fully, and exhale out your nose as well. There are some ways you can massage your nasal passages, which is important because you really need to be able to breathe in fully without any obstructions. I know there are a couple techniques at this point you could try. The first is something called century breathing. This is a Qigong embryonic breathing practice where all you do is breathe 100 times. Deep breaths, of course, just like we mentioned. Count them in your head, one at a time. This is surprisingly difficult because your mind will wander and you'll lose track of where you're at. So shoot for 25 breaths at first and work your way up so you don't get discouraged. Set small goals for yourself like that. We want to do this right. We don't want to make it unrealistic and set unrealistic expectations where you get discouraged. Just try it, 25 at first, and see if you can just breathe deeply without thinking of anything else but counting your breaths. You'll notice that when you do that, you won't be able to think of anything or you'll lose count. Another technique is called sacred G breathing. It's basically a geometric pattern of breathing. I'll link the video so you can follow along. You just do it for a couple minutes and then it'll pretty much jumpstart your kind of like relaxation. It's just a breathing technique to induce that sort of deep relaxation that you need for meditation. Essentially, what we're trying to do is have our body fall asleep while our mind stays awake. Feeling your body slowly go numb is part of the process and why you may prefer laying down. But arguably sitting helps you from accidentally falling asleep. So if you're an insomniac, you'll be fine lying down. And if you're one of those bastards who can sleep instantly, you may want to try sitting. If the centered breathing doesn't work for you, you just can't get into it. There's a few other techniques you can use to get into the deep states of meditation, but always you will need to breathe. That one is just focused solely on breath and breathing, and breathing will get slower and deeper as you get more into the meditation. So just be aware that that's part of the process. Your whole body's going to slow down, and there are ways where you don't even have to think about the breathing. It's just going to become something you're doing on top of the other techniques. It's just going to be based off what kind of person you are and what works for you and what will help you kind of clear your mind and stop you from being distracted so you can actually get into that deep state. So we're going to go over those right now. The first alternate method is to move about your room, move around in it in your mind. So touching, feeling, sensing, smelling, seeing, tracing, visualizing all the objects in your room and just the space and dimension of it. So you're creating an entire projection of your room in your mind. So feel your books or your bookshelf, trace your hand over folders or paper. What color is the book? What is on the book? What's depicted on it? Move about in your room, in your mind's eye. Touch your bed, your objects. Even see yourself laying down. Just recreate your room in your mind with all of the textures, sensations, feelings, smells, everything like that. This is called image training, and if you pair this with meditation, you can very quickly enter a deep state of meditation. You just have to stay focused so just constantly keep trying to do that. So some people that may be easy for you, or it may sound like a lot of fun to kind of do that rather than just like focusing on just your breathing. The second one is similar to this one, except instead of physically touching and feeling everything in your mind, you're going to focus on the sensations that you're actually touching with your body. So you need to feel 3 different senses at once. Focus only on feeling them, and your mind won't have any space to think and distract you. Already, if you try to feel something you're touching and something else you're touching, or something else that's touching you in a different part of your body, it already kind of like takes your whole focus. So if you try to do 3 sensations of any of your senses, and you can double up. You can feel 3 textures. You can feel the pillow on your head, feel the smell of your candle, feel the breeze outside. You can focus on warmth. You can even hold on to a tiny object that you've done the same thing. You've ritualized it and created a meditative link for it. That will be like one of your textures that you feel, that you know, when you're in this position and you're getting ready to meditate, you'll train your body into knowing that this object is your pathway, is your shortcut into the meditative state. The idea is that you're focusing your consciousness on what you choose to feel, which will take up all the space for thinking, and you'll quickly propel yourself into the next stage. But before we get to that, the third technique is kind of like the music option set to extreme. So some people might find complete silence best. Others can't focus on anything and need overwhelming sensations. So get as many devices as you can, your phone, TV, tablet, iPod, laptop, whatever you can get, and set each one to have a different noise. And you, not too loud, not too low, just kind of find a comfortable noise level and have them in different locations around the room. So you're having different angles of noise. And put one on with like static white noise. The other could be busy crowd noises or like street noises. And then like a mix of nature or musical instruments or chanting or just something kind of random. And you're going to drown out your thoughts by creating too much noise that you are trying to like listen to. You're trying to actively listen to those noises. And then you will get lost in that kind of like stream of information and sounds and find yourself entering those deep states of meditation. So those 4 techniques are the most effective that I've found for meditation. So now you're attempting to meditate. You've chosen your technique. You're comfortable in your breathing during the whole time. As your body relaxes, and you ignore the discomfort, it might feel that it's tightening, it's just getting sore. That's the process of the blood settling and the body starting to sleep. If that's the case, you're on the right track. The first stage is to just begin to quiet your mind as your body falls asleep. Now, let's say you're doing a technique and you start to feel like an electric, maybe vibrational tingling, and this feeling may be new to you. Again, this is what you're supposed to feel. This feeling alone may be so jarring that you snap awake and your concentration is broken. It's a new sensation. It may take a few tries to get over that like strangeness, that sort of dizzying effect. It's not scary, but you may have like an instinct to just like get away from it. It's something completely new that you've never felt before. And there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your body. Just stay calm. It's natural. You can continue through the electric feeling. Um, it just feels like energy. It's your whole body going numb, essentially. At this point, you might even notice that you feel expanded or melting into the room. You'll have a different perspective on your body as you don't even really feel your body anymore. You just kind of feel like a mind. You will feel both like you've expanded your consciousness into the like entirety of the room, while simultaneously feeling like they become like a specific point in space, like a dot in your consciousness. It can be very confusing and it's very hard to explain. So past that vibrational electric stage is the deep state of meditation. That's it. You've made it. You just have that first stage of relaxation and trying out the techniques. And once you've doing the techniques long enough, you're going to start sensing those electrical feelings as your body goes numb. And then eventually the like electrical feeling will stop if you continue doing those techniques. And then that's the deep meditative trance, the deep meditative state. So from deep meditation, you can simply enjoy the peace and perception changes, just like resting in that state. And you can think, you can contemplate, you can just remain clear-headed, just feeling what it's like, and just resting your body and mind in that kind of impossible to describe state. Or you can continue deeper, you can expand further and diminish more infinitely in your mind. To do this, you just continue your technique, just focusing on nothing but whatever textures or noises you've chosen or breathing you've chosen. I think the reason why we call it like a deep state of meditation is because you will physically and mentally feel deep. You think of like your head is only so big, but you will feel like there's a depth and like an infinite space quality to it that you just keep getting smaller and smaller as your whole consciousness simultaneously expands. Like I said, it's hard to explain, but you can also, from here, this is where you would try to astral project, or you might even find yourself in another location, or you'll be vividly seeing your room, or be in some like a dream-like space. A lot of experiences and things can happen in this state that are going to be unique to probably a lot of people. Just try to continue to explore and not panic in this dizzying, ego-defying experience. It will be like nothing you've felt before. For the psychonauts on this channel, which I think there are a few, I suggest you try to learn how to do this sober, because then when you do try to dose and trip, you can enter this meditative state on top of the trip and just see where that takes you. And if you wake up or some random noise jolts you awake and breaks your concentration, while it may be frustrating, whatever progress you've achieved, be proud of it and just know that you're furthering your ability. It's just practice, and you're going to be able to re-enter that state again. And you just have to focus and stay clear-headed and calm. You'll notice changes in your everyday life as well, both observational and personally, how you go about your daily activities. It's a learning experience, and it's practice and physical and mental fitness. Be sure to stretch, drink water. You may be thirstier than you've ever felt possible after a meditative trip. You may want to take a nap or go on a walk or do anything like that after. Some more tips, real quick. You can try some sleep or dream tea. That could help you relax. Just be careful not to flat out fall asleep. You may not understand this until you've tried it once or twice, but as you go about your everyday routine and work and life, keep in the back of your mind at all times meditation. Observe the world around you, take in all the noises and textures, but don't apply any particular meaning to them. Don't let them get to you. Just be like a casual observer. Obviously participate in life, but don't take your mind off of your reason for existence. Our senses and our consciousness are like a radar dish. We are gathering data and information through our brain and senses and language and inputting that into our subconscious. That subconscious is you. That is who you are. Your waking consciousness is designed to feed into your subconscious for meditation and dreams. One final technique you can use if nothing else is working is a sort of hack. What you'll need to do is pick a morning that you can sleep in. Go to sleep as you regularly would. Only for this, you're going to set your alarm for 2 hours earlier than when you'd normally wake up. So if you sleep at midnight and wake up at 7, then set your alarm for 5. Now once you wake up, make sure you get up, drink some water, go to the bathroom. You could even have some fruit or a light snack or drink, preferably nothing with caffeine. Do some light reading or journaling your experience or just preparing yourself for the technique. You just need to kill time, about 10 to 15 minutes. Nothing overly stimulating, but enough to wake your mind up without waking your body up too much. Now you're going to go back to bed and go into that meditative state using any of the techniques. And for this method to work, you need to set an alarm to go off about every 20 minutes. A loud enough alarm that will wake you if you end up falling asleep, but not so loud that if you are in meditation, that it distracts you too much. So pick something really soft and naturally relaxing. What's going to happen is you will be surfing between consciousness and unconsciousness. This is especially effective if you want to try to astral project or lucid dream. You will pretty much jumpstart that vibrational stage simply by having your body fall asleep. Your body is just going to naturally fall asleep. You keep your mind awake through those techniques. Having the alarm constantly wake you up if you fail will give you multiple opportunities. Eventually, you will either pass out or wake up, so you have about 4 tries, give or take one, to practice this and try to enter that state. So this is a way you can maximize getting into those deep states, pretty much skipping that first relaxation stage and just starting off straight in the vibrational stage and then trying from there to get to the meditative state. This is kind of hacking the technology of meditation, but you will need to have a free morning. So you should definitely try to get into meditation just like through the regular way, but use that method if nothing else seems to be working for you. Again, just give yourself a few tries. Maybe you'll get it on your first attempt. Maybe it takes a couple weeks. But everyone is capable of this meditation. This is a biological technology we all have, and every single human should experience this at least once. Like I said, I won't move on to discussing the follow-up on this until everyone has experienced it. All you need is about 30 minutes in your day, maybe twice a week at the very least, to try this. Do this and we can explore the results. A breakdown and summary will be in the description so you can reference that instead of trying to rewatch the video if you get confused or need to read through a technique again. Good luck and thanks for watching. Let me know how it goes and peace out.